out to the bee yard, figuratively. And we're going to talk some more about bees, and they just have so many lessons to teach us. And we're going to talk a little bit about bee orientation. But first, I want to encourage you to think about places or times in your own life where Jesus you've really felt the presence of Jesus. Or perhaps even think about a story that really resonates with you, something that you strongly feel attached to, and share those experiences with the rest of the congregation. We want to hear from you during this time of semi-isolation. Even though things seem to be opening up, it's still a good time to open your heart and allow the rest of the congregation in, so we kind of know what's happening with you. We're trying to continue to do these uplifts every week. Every Wednesday they come out. Every Friday is when we tend to record these. So if you have a story that you're willing to share with the rest of the congregation, contact Pastor Carl and let him know that you're ready to share your experience and your story. So orientation, bee orientation, what does that mean? Well, the bees come out, and when they get to a certain age, they come out and they learn where their hive is. They get oriented to where their hive is with regard to the rest of the world. And what occurred to me is that as people, as we grow in our faith, we also begin to orient ourselves around our faith in relationship to the rest of the world. So let me roll some videos and kind of walk you through my thinking here and this particular lesson that I feel like the bees have to share with us. So you're watching a couple of videos of bees doing their orientation flights. These are young adult bees learning where their home is. They spent the first 3 weeks of their lives after emerging from their cells caring for their sisters. They did the chores that any of us parents would wish our children would do for us. They cleaned the house, they polished the floors, they built new comb, they collected the honey and pollen that foragers brought home, and they stored it. And they made bee bread that gets fed to the babies. They did the babysitting and anything else that needed to be done inside of the hive. Now they're 3 weeks old and they're preparing to become the adult foragers for the hives. They'll each specialize in seeking out water, nectar, pollen, or the sap from plants. They'll use water to drink, and the younger bees will spread out tiny droplets of water throughout the hive as part of their temperature regulation, kind of an air conditioning, with other bees sitting on the front porch fanning air inside to regulate how hot or cold the inside of the hive is. The sap will be used to form propolis, a kind of a bee glue that they use to plug holes in the hive or stick down in anything that moves. During this orientation flight, the bees face the hive and they fly out a little, then back into the hive, then they fly out a little further and they come back. They continue this pattern, back and forth, circling the hive in ever widening circles, learning where their home is, learning what their home looks like. They notice the shape and the colors of the hive, where the entrance is, where the hive is in relationship to any trees or bushes or shrubs, or in relationship to neighboring hives. Once the bees are sure about their home, they take off. They fly away as far as 3 miles. They go off in search of necessities that they need to keep the hive alive. I think that in some ways we do this with our faith. As we learn from God, we eagerly absorb all the knowledge that we can. We look at our faith in God from every direction. We attend church, we go to Bible studies, we take walks to Emmaus. As we grow stronger in our faith, we become bolder and launch ourselves back into the world, sure of who we are and where we belong. David wrote, in Psalms 143, 7-10. Where can I go from thy spirit? Or where can I flee from thy presence? If I ascend to heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in Sheol, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the dawn, if I dwell in the remotest part of the sea, even there thy hand will lead me, and thy right hand will lay hold of me. Doesn't matter where we go in this life, God is there. God goes with us. We take God with us. And what about those times when we have to make a major move away from our old homes, perhaps to a new city? God is there with us also. And the spirits of those that we love go with us. While not physically, the people that we've been around, our loved ones, our fellow congregants, are there inside of us. We had the pleasure of standing in the midst of a swarm once. The queen decided it was time to separate from the old and start a new home. As she left, half the bees left with her. In this video you can see the hive where the bees were leaving and the landing place the queen chose while the bees helped her to find a new home. Just like us, when we leave one home and go to the next, we take the memories and a bit of the spirit of those we are leaving behind with us. All that we learned about our place in the world, all the love that we received from our fellow congregants goes with us. So, like the queen, we do not leave alone. We leave in the company of the Spirit of God. I hope you all have a blessed day.